What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another Instagram Live. And we're here yet again with another episode of Jimmy Rants. If you're just joining us and you hadn't seen these before, what we do here is we rant about some topic in the world of nutritional health. I'm all about ketogenic diets, and so we generally focus in on topics that are related to keto. And so I like to rant when there are things that are put out there that need a rant, that need to be addressed. And in keto, unfortunately, there's a lot of those kind of subjects out there. And so today's topic here on Jimmy Rants, JimmyRants.com, by the way, is how you can find all of my rants. We do this live twice a day, usually once sometime in the morning, once sometime in the afternoon, Eastern time, on Instagram Live. So hi to all my regulars here on Instagram Live. If you're watching live, you could be watching on the replay for 24 hours. But what we do is we add all of these to YouTube so that you get the benefit of all the information forever and ever. Amen. So JimmyRants.com is where you find that. And soon we will be having a Jimmy Rants podcast to be sharing with you as well. So today's Jimmy Rants topic that we're going to address is very prescient because as of the recording of this, tomorrow is Halloween. Then after Halloween, shortly thereafter, we have Thanksgiving. Then after Thanksgiving, we have Christmas. And then after Christmas, we have the New Year. Then after the New Year, we have Valentine's Day. Then Mother's Day. I could go through the whole year, all of these occasions where we celebrate, various holidays. And so my question today is, why do we have to celebrate all of these holidays with sugar? Sugar seems to be the dominant ingredient that is consumed on all of these holidays. Have you ever stopped to wonder how in the world did we become such a sugar-centric society that every single one of these holidays has to surround sugar? Now, obviously, Valentine's Day and Halloween are the two biggies where candy becomes kind of the predominant thing that is sold. Candy companies, they either make or break their year in terms of sales projections based on the sales of candy for Halloween and for Valentine's Day. And so if they don't do well selling candy at those two holidays, that's basically their Super Bowl, then they're not going to have a good year. And so they rely heavily on the general public being fooled into thinking, just because culturally we have had sugar, candy, being given out on Halloween and being given out in chocolate form or whatever for Valentine's Day. We have been conditioned that those are the days that you eat candy. That those are the days that it's okay and acceptable. And of course, the candy companies aren't going to tell you that there's anything else you can do on those holidays. They just keep pumping out bags upon bags upon bags of candy, and we all obediently gobble them up. Now, I do wonder, with the rise in the anti-sugar movement, with the rise in movements like low carb and then paleo and now keto, I do wonder how much of that, what used to be sold as candy, how much of it's still out there in a big way. But our culture is so full of all these opportunities where we have holidays come up and we have to celebrate them with sugar. So, for example, like I said, as of the recording of this, tomorrow is Halloween. So tomorrow night, you're going to have kids go around dressed up as all kind of little figures from the comic books and movies and everything, and the cartoon characters. And they're going to come knocking on your door, and they're going to go trick or treat. So we have this notion, and we're even conditioning our kids to believe that a treat is candy. And back in the day, when someone got candy, it truly was a treat. They got it once in a while. It was, once a week, once a month, whatever it was. And it was a true treat. You got 1 or 2 pieces of candy, and it was truly looked at as a treat. Nowadays, kids are having constant treats where it's not really a treat anymore. It's just the norm. And that's part of why we've gone downhill as a society, why our health collectively has gotten worse and worse and worse, is we're treating this this culture as sugar is normal. And when sugar is normal, we should not be surprised with all the ramifications that come with that health would go off the deep end, weights would go higher, blood sugar and insulin levels go higher, and the rates of chronic disease go higher. That's exactly what has happened. So what do you do? When we celebrate holidays with sugar, is there an alternative? And I would say absolutely there is an alternative. So for Halloween, it's pretty easy. I think we need to stop focusing so heavily on candy and instead have other options for kids. I would much rather see kids be given beef sticks, for example. What a great Halloween trick-or-treat item to give out. So you could get beef sticks, you could get little packets of nuts. That would also be another great way. It's a real food that you can put in their bag. Even like a little toy. I remember when I was a kid, we used to have Cracker Jack, and so inside the Cracker Jack was this toy. I liked it when I got the magnifying glass, the little fake magnifying glass. And I always kind of dumped out the candied popcorn so I could get to the toy. That was the real treat to me. Now, eventually I did eat all the Cracker Jack too. But I think we've lost the fine art of having a treat that doesn't have to have a lot of sugar in it. And so then you move to Valentine's Day, and I think the notion that, well, I gotta buy chocolates and I gotta get my sweetheart, those little sweetheart heart candies, take that to school with me, and we need to have the Peeps around Easter, and it just seems like it's this never-ending barrage. And I blame the food companies. I blame those companies that make these sugary products because they create this false culture that tells us that those things are normal. Those things are not normal. Having constant barrage of sugar is why I got to weigh 410 pounds and why in my late 40s I am still struggling with the ravages of insulin resistance. And I don't think we ever think about it when 8-year-old Bobby is sitting there licking on a lollipop, the ramifications of what's going to happen when Bobby is 48 and how that's going to impact him, and how heart disease and type 2 diabetes and cancer and future Alzheimer's disease, it's all related back to that time in their life when they were celebrating holidays with sugar. Now, some people say, oh, you're being too harsh. They're just kids. Their metabolism can handle it. Well, yeah, their metabolism can handle it now. But what's going to happen 10, 20, 30, 40 years after they've had that candy and it's impacted them? And here's the other thing. They continue to eat in that way. I can tell you, I continued in my 20s eating the way that I learned as a kid. You know, and a lot of people are like, well, you turned 18. You should have known how to eat. Come on. You know how, you learned how to eat. That's what you know. And so for me, that meant a lot of crappy garbage. Mama did the best she could, but she didn't know about the ramifications of feeding us all that crap. And now, again, in my late 40s, I'm having to deal with the fallout from having all that crap all those years. And then into my early adult years and my 20s, I kept eating that way because it was normal to me. And it all started because during the holidays and throughout the year, birthday parties at school, you name it, sugar was the way we celebrated. So I'm hoping we can get away from that and we encourage kids to have other ways to have a treat and to celebrate than to have sugar, because there's a whole lot better things that you can do that won't give you negative health implications down the road. All right, let's see what you guys have to say. They do it because they can make money. Kimberly Jackson Simmons, you are exactly right. And that's exactly why they do it. And the thing that makes me the most mad about food companies is they know this product is crap. I guarantee you most of the executives that work at Mars and M&M's and Skittle, the company that makes Skittles and all these different Snicker bar and all this thing, I guarantee you they know the negative ramifications of their product, and they don't give a crap. They just don't care because they're making a lot of money. And again, I'm hoping that the paleo, real food, primal, low carb, keto movement has helped to stem some of that enough of us are eating better and making better choices that we're not eating that crap anymore. I'm hoping that that's making a difference, but you won't know until enough people do it at a large enough percentage that they start losing money, and then they realize, we got to change our business model. So what do you give out to trick-or-treaters? Linda Learns Life. So Linda, thank you for that, and thank you for being here. So I mentioned it a little bit earlier. I think meat sticks would be a great option to give out to kids. Also little nut packets. So you could buy some peanuts, you could buy almonds. I love those little peely nuts. Peely nuts actually has like a little square package that's got about 8 of the peely nuts, and it's the perfect size to hand out on Halloween. And then even like a small little toy. Think about the size of the toy that you got in a Cracker Jack box. Those things could be really nice. There's some really good companies out there where you can buy like a couple hundred little miniature toys and hand those out. And to most kids, they'll be none the wiser and be like, oh, wow, this is kind of cool. I remember I used to have one couple that was handing out stuff on Halloween when I was a kid. They would give us like a yo-yo or something like that. And those were always the coolest because it was outside the norm of the candy. New Year's, Valentine's, St. Patty's Day, Easter, Mother's Day, Father's Day, 4th of July, back to school, Halloween, Thanksgiving, and Christmas. My kids get it once in a blue moon. Yeah, all of those holidays you just named off, Kimberly, are exactly the holidays where we're getting a lot of this sugar. So I'm going to give kids high cocoa dark chocolate this year. Can't risk getting regular candy because my daughter can't resist, although she wants to be in ketosis. And that's the other thing. Thank you, Lily Grand. That's the other thing. There is a high level of susceptibility to craving, to binge eating on the candy. If you're just joining us, we're talking about why do we have to celebrate holidays with sugar? And this is my latest Jimmy Rants episode. And the bottom line is we don't. We don't have to celebrate all of these holidays with sugar. We choose to, and a lot of it's conditioned. We've been conditioned by the food companies that are making this crappy garbage junk food, making us think that Halloween is a candy free-for-all, that you have to buy your honey some chocolates for Valentine's Day, on and on and on. I ate so much candy as a kid and have struggled with my weight my whole life. I don't want my kids to go through the same. And that's the big thing. And I'm really heartened by the movements that have happened since 2009. We had the primal movement come, then paleo came shortly after that. Low carb was before all of that. And then keto has come since then, and the whole real food emphasis. All of these things, I think, are going to make a dent in this candy sales and these times of years when we have all of these holidays where we celebrate sugar, when you can celebrate without the sugar. Nini's Keto Kitchen. I wouldn't do nuts because of allergies. I reckon onions instead of apples dipped in dark chocolate. LOL. Trick, not treat. And good point. Thank you about the nuts. Most of the nut allergies tend to be peanuts, which is why I like the peely nuts. They don't tend to have an allergic reaction. So yeah, you're right. Because of allergies, you probably want to avoid the peanuts. Although I know people give out like Snicker bars or whatever, and the moms that have kids that have peanut allergies, they'll go through the candy to make sure that it's not in there. But yeah, it's a tough one, you guys. And of course, now that we're coming in on Halloween, and then the whole holiday season, and then all the things that are coming in the new year, you just have to be cognizant that there is a better way. And guess what? Everybody always kind of complains about this, but nobody ever takes action. So I want to leave you, before I end this Jimmy Rants, with some actionable items. Be that one that makes the change. You be the one that institutes, I'm not giving out candy at my house, I'm giving something else. You be the one that when Valentine's Day comes around, you give a teddy bear and you give roses, but you skip the chocolates. You be the one that is the trendsetter to change things. And if people start asking about it, you say, look, I care about you so much and your health so much that I don't want to do that to your blood sugar and your insulin and your inflammation levels. I love you, so therefore I'm not going to give you those things that I know will make you less healthy than you are now. We don't give out candy, Kimberly says, and we don't get it either. Good for you, Kimberly. That's awesome. All right, guys, that's it for this episode of Jimmy Rants. All about why do we have to celebrate holidays with sugar. Hopefully you know by now. You do not. So again, as always, go to jimmyrants.com. You can see all of the past videos that I've done there on YouTube. If you're watching this live on Instagram Live, thanks for watching. And if you're watching this on the replay within the 24 hours after it posted live, thanks for watching on Instagram. But go to jimmyrants.com. You can see this on YouTube. And coming soon, we're going to have a nice podcast for you guys to enjoy that'll have the highlights of the best of these Jimmy Rants. I hope you're enjoying this. I'm really enjoying this. It's a lot of fun to rant about various topics in the world of nutritional health. So until next time, we'll see you then.